little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. My mom used to always sing This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Her singing had an urgency about it, an urgency for people to listen, for people to know that they were working for a cause and everybody needed to join in because there was so much against the Black people back then.
We've been down so long, we ain't got no other way to go but up.
My name is Jacqueline Hamer Flakes, and I'm the youngest and only living daughter of the late civil rights activist, Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. People have written books, they have made movies, they have done bios, but they really don't know the real Fannie Lou Hamer.
We have been Black powerless people for 400 years.
My name is Monica Land, and Fannie Lou Hamer was my great aunt. Her husband, Pap, and my maternal grandfather were brothers. One of the things that I saw that was missing in all of the documentaries and clips that I'd seen on Aunt Fannie Lou was the family element. Stories that I had been told and heard my entire life, those were missing. That personal side of her life was missing, and I thought people needed to see that. Aunt Fannie Lou had always said was that she had spoken at every college and university campus there was. And once we started researching this film, we saw that that was just about true. She had a very large presence.
I've been very concerned with young Black people in Mississippi, and there's no need of getting an education, running to some other place. Fight and make it right here. I'd take a chance in Mississippi quicker than I would Chicago, because we at least know where we are here. But they got some of the same hypocrites up there. It's just like these white racists down here.
I just thought, you know, why not let her tell her own story? She was known, you know, for her public speaking. She was such a fiery speaker.
I didn't come to Washington to hear no bills being legislated that they would feed me in 1972. What in the world is going on between 1972? I'm thinking about what you gonna do for my people in December.
When she spoke before other people, she told them about her background, her history, the cotton fields, where she came from. And so it just seemed natural to just build that and let her tell her own existence.
See, Mississippi is not actually Mississippi's problem. Mississippi is America's problem.
My name is Jimmy Lee Lacey, and Aunt Fannie is my great aunt. She was the baby of the family. She believed truly in God. Our family was kind of a religious family, and you was gonna do something in the church. If she was there, you was gonna do something, whether it was sing, pray, preach, or whatever. It looked like everybody was quiet, and if there wasn't a preacher, there's a Sunday school teacher or a Sunday school superintendent. We were brought up like that. But we was taught to love everybody, whether you was white or Black. Skin never made a difference with her when it come down to righteous or come down to being right. In the same way with wrong. If you're wrong, it didn't make no difference what color you were. If you was wrong, she told you was wrong.
If I hate you because you hate me, I'm no better than you are. And all we want to do is to make these people understand that we are human beings and we can work together.
Long before she got involved in civil rights, she was saying,
We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are tired of working for $3 measly a day, going home and being too tired to cook what little we did have.
because she was. Picking cotton was such a chore. My mother picked cotton, and 50, 60 years later, she's still traumatized by seeing cotton fields. She hates to see them because of the drudgery that it was on them. And so Aunt Fannie Lou did this for so long. And so that saying just followed her all of her life. Her song moved people, it motivated people. The freedom songs that she sang, that's what she used, and she was good at it.
Just think about going to a courthouse and just wanting to register to vote so that your name means something more than just having yourself being counted in the census, but just meaning something where you can vote for the President of the United States, vote for the people who are representing you in your city, in your county, in your state, in your nation. Just knowing that you have the power, or you should have had the power. But it took her going to Indianola and walking up to the counter and saying, we're here to register to vote.
She was out there figuring a way how to make people live better.
She wanted better for her children. She wanted better for her community. And I think that was the driving force, to just make things better for everyone, regardless of their color. Aunt Fannie Lou helped organize Freedom Summer.
People should be expected to get beaten, they should expect to spend in jail, and that they should expect possibly somebody to get killed.
She marched with Dr. King. She spoke. Malcolm X introduced her as America's #1 freedom-fighting woman. She felt the need, with others, including Mrs. Ella Baker, to create the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, or the MFDP.
That a political party should be open to all the people who wish to subscribe to its principles.
That was created because the official Democratic Party of Mississippi didn't allow Black people to participate.
In 1964, when Mama Fannie went before the Credentials Committee, she walked in there with her purse on her arms, and I'm gonna say she was only 5'4", but she was walking tall that day. And when it was time for her to speak, she said,
Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hook because our lives be threatened daily?
And while she was speaking and telling about all the horrible things that were going on in the Mississippi Delta, President Lyndon B. Johnson did all that he could to make sure that it wasn't seen. They went to emergency commercials. He didn't know that that night it was aired anyway. And people all over the world saw that. They saw that she was telling what was going on. She wasn't fearful about telling what was going on because she went point A to point Z. And at the end, she had tears in her eyes. So that let everybody know that it was serious.
She was a very, very important part of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. What drove her was hearing that Black people could vote, and have a say in what she called their destiny.
Here they come, followers of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. They've been here at the House of Representatives all day long from this morning. They are all now under arrest, charged with unlawful occupancy of a public building.
I realized who my mama, Fannie Lou Hamer, was when she took us on a trip with her to Atlanta, Georgia. and they had a convention going on, and I saw Mama on stage, and she had that hand on her hip, and her head was reared back, and she was talking, and she was giving the information on what happened to her in Winona when she was beaten.
What happened to her in Winona, Mississippi changed her forever.
I have a blood clot now in the artery to the left eye and a permanent kidney injury on the right side from that beating.
As they were leaving the jail, they were told that Medgar Evers had been assassinated that morning.
15 minutes past midnight, Evers got out of his car beside his home in a Negro residential area. In a vacant lot about 40 yards away, a sniper fired a single shot from a high-powered rifle at Evers' silhouette. The bullet hit him in the back, crashed through his body, through a window into the house. He died within an hour at a Jackson hospital.
She said later that that could have been what spared their lives, because she'd heard the law enforcement officials talking about killing them and throwing them in the Big Black River. But because Medgar Evers had been assassinated earlier that morning, all eyes were going to be on Mississippi, and it was going to be too much publicity to do that. And so she honestly believed that the unfortunate death of Medgar Evers is what saved their lives.
I've been beaten in jail till my body was hard as metal. My house was bombed January 28, 1971, but I'm not stopping.
One of the things that moved me about her personality, her voice was so commanding.
In 1963 or 1964, we didn't have many people registered in the Mississippi. But today we have 60% of the black population registered in Mississippi. We have 42 elected officials in the state of Mississippi. And one day you will be proud when you can say, Senator Fannie Lou Hamer, because I'm on my way, baby.
She said that, you know, people may talk about me because they consider me uneducated, but still they were afraid of her because she had the power. We found all of these television interviews.
Will you welcome, please, Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer.
Where she was face-to-face with older white politicians. She was not intimidated by them because they were educated, particularly when she knew what she was talking about.
Even after the 1965 Voting Rights Bill passed and they sent a few registrars in Mississippi, they were able to get a few thousand people registered, but they are still is not accepted on the state book. And the only way these people can vote is on a national election. Well, how can they say they're fighting for the right for people to vote when we're not allowed to vote in the state of Mississippi?
You've got a good point there, but...
That was amazing for me to see, that you had these old politicians who had been in politics for years with this woman that came out of the cotton field and told them where to go. You know, it's both funny and amazing at the same time that she had that kind of power. She had that kind of presence.
In the state of Mississippi, and we are tired of people saying that we are satisfied.
It was so effective. Dr. Martin Luther King did not like to follow her on stage because she was so dramatic. Harry Belafonte raised the money that sent her and several other SNCC delegates to Africa to visit President Sekou Touré.
Mr. Harry Belafonte's wife, Julie, was with her. And Mama Fannie was amazed by the things that she saw in Ghana. Black people working in the bank, running the stores, you know, people, the president came to the hotel where they were, and Miss Julie came up to the hotel room and she was like, Fannie, the president is here to see you. And Mom was like, no, I'm not going down there. I got rollers in my hair. So Miss Belafonte and her family, they all laugh about that because Mama was family to them. Whenever she was in New York, she stayed in their home. The picture that I saw that made me know that, I'm gonna say, Mama is famous, was a picture of the Kennedys. And I said, Mama, who is that lady? She's pretty. And she said, that's your godmama. And I'm like, my godmama? And she said, that's Jacqueline Kennedy. And I'm like, oh. Now, I don't know if she was just saying that to make me feel good, but I'm still hanging on that story. That's my godmama. She had this best friend, Miss Rose, and she would write letters to Miss Rose where she's really just being a mother and being a friend. This is a letter that Mama wrote on October 13th, 1965. Dear Rose, I received the package today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Rose, I've been very sick. Also, my husband. He stayed in the hospital 14 days and nights with a slipped disc. It's also corrupted. But he's up now, not well, but better, and I am better, thank God. The children are fine, are in school. I hope all your family are fine. Rose, my daughter that's 21 is going to be a mother in November. If you can find any used baby clothes, please send them to me, Rose. Rose, I met a wonderful lady in Portland. She knew you. I told her you are a mother for me, although I'm the oldest. I thank God there are people like you who care. Last night, we watched 2 cars stop in front of the house with white people in them. We saw one fella get out and a white girl. We don't know why they stopped because there are no white people on this street. Who do we report this to? Nobody have been convicted. That's what make me question America. How can we say this is a free country when all this can happen? Oh God, I wonder how long. Well, I have to tell you, as you're one of the greatest friends I ever had. Answer soon. Yours for God and for justice, Fannie Lou Hamer.
When our lead researcher and consultant, Dr. Megan Parker Brooks, found the letters and I started reading the letters, it was just so sad because she really poured out her heart to her friend Rose Fishman. And it was almost like seeing 2 different people. You saw the person, you know, who motivated the crowd and got people to go register and vote, and the person who was shot at and all of that. But then in the letters, you see a woman, you see a mother, a wife, a friend, and all of the baggage that came with that.
This is another letter that Mama Fannie wrote to Mrs. Edgar E. Smith. And this is a person in Massachusetts that she knew. Dear Mrs. Smith, this is to assure you that your letters and checks and also all the boxes. Mrs. Smith, the money was so much help. I've been sick again and couldn't have gone to see a doctor. If you all hadn't helped me, I just wish I could put it in writing how I feel about what you all are doing for us. It makes my heart feel so good. Mrs. Smith, I've lasted a long time behind the beating. I got in jail, but it is catching up with me now. My whole body sometimes is sore. But I'm going to work until my days are done. Thank you all for everything. You're for God and justice for men. Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer.
She had just tremendous health issues. And when she was told that she had a tumor and needed to have it removed, during the procedure, a white doctor performed a hysterectomy on her without her knowledge or consent. And apparently at the time, a very common practice, and it was termed a Mississippi appendectomy.
How can you do that? But that's what they were dealing with back then in the 50s and the 60s. When I think about those things, I really get angry. I get angry because she worked hard. She worked tirelessly. And I mean, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was already in a late stage when she found out, she would tell me, Cookie, come on in here, baby, and lay down by mama. I'm cold. And back then, I didn't know what she was really doing. But the last few days of her being in the hospital in Mount Bayou, Daddy Pap took us to see her. And we started walking in the room. Me and my sister started walking in the room. And she started screaming, "Get him out of here! Get him out of here!" She didn't want us to see her like that. So my memory is not of someone who's frail or anything like that, because she never let us see her at that point. But my memory is, Cookie, baby, come on in here. Get into bed with mama. Just thinking about her. Loving and caring for 4 daughters, of which she didn't give birth to any. But she loved us, and she took care of us. Every time I come out here, I can just feel her spirit.
We want to determine some of our destiny, and this is what Black Power means.
She is such a tremendous part of our history. It's so sad to me, and all that she accomplished and tried to accomplish, most people don't even know who she is. We take for granted being able to walk in the front door of a grocery store, being able to go in any grocery store. We take for granted being able to go to the schools of our choice. We take for granted being able to eat anywhere we want, sit anywhere on the bus, drink at any water fountain. Those are things that she and so many others fought for and died for. And so because her sacrifices were so great and she died the way that she did, and she is such a part of history, I would just like to see her recognized for what she did and for the sacrifices that she made for this effort.